got started a little bit late today. I slept for roughly 3.5 hours, and then basically my alarm clock did go off, and I got up what I thought was about 3 minutes after. I thought it was about 3 minutes after my alarm clock went off, but actually it turned out to be about 30 minutes after. Normally I try to get up about 1 hour at least before. Try to give it at least 1 hour before the game time starts, so I can have everything ready to go and my hot water warmed up and etc. etc. You know, just everything done that I need to have done. And but you know how it is when you have to get up at like 2 a.m. Whenever you have to get up at 2 a.m. Just one of those evenings. But anyway, really quickly we get caught up. Astros are getting kind of ready to go, but I have everything mostly ready to go here for myself. So if you don't mind, what I'd like to do is go ahead and go over the Astros lineup really quickly. Okay, I think everything is set up correctly. If you see something incorrect on the board, you can let me know, but I think everything is updated. The pictures are updated. The chat is updated, and the preview screen is ready to go. Jeremy Pena is leading it off today for the STROS. Followed by Yordan Alvarez batting second again. I guess they like Alvarez batting second. I really don't understand why. He's in left field today. Altuve batting third in the DH spot. This lineup makes no sense already to me. Correa batting cleanup at fourth, or at third base rather. Jesus Sanchez batting fifth in right field. Christian Walker batting sixth at first base. Once again, Diaz batting right behind Walker, seventh, and catching. I don't understand that. So Sanchez, Walker, then Diaz. I don't get it, but whatever. Ramon Urias is in the game today at second base, batting eighth. Jacob Melton is the cleanup batter today instead of Mauricio Dumont batting. I say the cleanup, but the final batter in the lineup, rather. The wrap-up batter, batting ninth in center field for the Astros. I actually was able to get everything going here in time before the first pitch. Can't believe it. Jose Soriano is on the mound today. For the Fallen Angels. Steel Viper, thank you so much. I just saw that you dropped a super chat. Thank you so much. Feels nice to actually get the. It always feels nice to get the super chat, but it feels especially nice at 3 in the morning. So thank you so much. You said today, Steel Viper says today's going to be a good day. Absolutely. This game, if it ends on time, should be finished around 6 a.m. my time. And what that means is I will go back to bed. My plan today is to just not do anything and not even eat. I have some electrolyte drinks in there in the fridge that are low sugar, low carb. They've got a lot of nice potassium and all sorts of minerals and vitamins. Zach Neto is at the plate for the Angels, and he is taking the first pitch from Hunter Brown. That's high. 96 miles an hour, ball one. Here comes the next toss from Hunter Brown. Let's get the better of Neto today, shall we? 95 outside. Let's see here. If I want to check right quick into the chat and see what I'm missing, because I know I've got several people here I want to say hello to. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Below the zone. 3 straight balls from Hunter Brown. 3-0 to Neto. 3 fastballs. Miss, miss, miss. Casey Jones. Yo, yo, yo. Good to see you. Daryl. Sweet Richard. And Mr. Page. It would be nice if Brown pitches well. And the bats produce. Definitely, I agree. This is hit hard to left center field. He decides to go after it on 3-0. Alvarez grabs it. Interesting that he decided to swing at that one on the 3-0. I guess he thought that he might have an opportunity for a big hit. Smart time to swing, I think. He just didn't get all of it, thankfully. Daryl says no games in Houston, Texas. That's right. No game today. See you guys later. 1 down. Here's the next pitch to Moncada. That's in there. 96 miles an hour. Strike 1. Good morning to you, Mr. Page. Daryl's also running behind. Understand. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss on the knuckle curve. 0-2. So Brown starts off Neto with a 3-0 when he comes back with Moncada on this pitch count with the 0-2. Here comes the next toss. It's in the dirt. 1-2. Brennan says you sound very tired today. Probably just not fully awake. It's mainly what it is. Just very, very chill. You know. I think that I would have to sleep like probably at least 6 hours. A full 6 hours before I felt really good and awake to get up at 2 a.m. Here's the pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Moncada. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the first. Hey Ken, welcome in. Good to see you. I'm surprised that I didn't miss the first pitch. Here comes the 2-2. Ooh, nice. Knuckle curve in the dirt. A dirty pitch, literally. Metaphorically and literally speaking. Moncada goes down. Man, that ball basically hit the plate. Man, that's a big weapon in Hunter Brown's arsenal right there, is that knuckle curve. 2 down. 1 strikeout, 1 fly out. Time to go fishing. Mike Trout at the plate. 96 below the zone. 1-0. Hey, old dog. Welcome back. Good to see you. Glenn says, good day. Don't forget those likes. People sub, hit like, and feel good for the whole day. Thank you so much, Glenn. I haven't even mentioned that. I haven't been plugging that so much recently. Maybe that's why the like counts have been lower than usual. Can't tell if it's because of the Astros playing, because I don't mention it as much, or maybe a combination of both. YouTube is always reminding me, if you mention memberships more people will join. If you mention super chats more, people will give you super chats. If you mention likes more, people will. They're always mentioning these things, but I don't like pushing it all the time. 94 miles an hour right in there, so after the foul ball, it is now 1-2 to Mike Trout. 2 outs, nobody on. Brendan says, I hear the crickets in the background. Yeah. The crickets have basically kind of replaced the frogs right now. 97 fouled off right in the zone. Pretty amazing information at Daikin Park. Shohei Ohtani batting 228, Judge batting 202, Mike Trout batting 197. Can you believe that? Astros pitchers are dominating the top guys in the league. Fouled off again. These are lifetime batting averages. You know that these batters don't like having to bat against the Astros at all, especially here in Daikin Park. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Oh. Somehow he fouled that one off, kind of a half swing, defensive inside swing. Yeah, Ken, you're absolutely right. Ken says it seems you get more money engagement when we are winning. Yeah, I get more subscriptions. I get more views. I get more donations. Everything positive goes up. This is hit high in the air to left field, but it's going to be difficult. Look at that. Did he make that catch? No, he did not. Holy cow. Jeremy Pena almost made a catch. That ball was hit high out there, but Jordan's too slow to get to it. Pena ran his butt off. I thought for a second there that Pena had it. Jordan luckily was able to grab it on the bounce. Look how close that was. What a valiant attempt there. Talk about maximum effort by the Flash, but he couldn't get it. That's going to be a hit. A hit double for a base hit double for Mike Trout. With that hit, his batting average in Daikin Park is basically around 200 now. Taylor Ward at the plate, ball 1. 2 outs, runner on second. Here's the toss in the dirt. 92 miles an hour. Trout got really lucky with that fly ball. I don't know how in the world. I guess it was because Jordan was just so deep. And Jordan is not the fastest guy in the world. He could not get to that ball. Pena ran his butt off and just could not get to it. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Come on, Hunter. 1. Yeah, Richard, friend of mine, he's in a different place here in Japan, north of Kyoto, kind of central Japan, north central Japan. He said the locusts there are just out of control. Luckily for me, the locusts have not been a thing this year. I always have frogs. Every year I have frogs, but then again, I'm surrounded by rice fields. So it's very common for me to have the frogs. 3 balls and 1 strike to Taylor Ward. 20 pitches now for Brown. He looks for the count, or looks for the pitch rather. He's got what he wants. Here comes the 3-1 toss. That's in there. Another nice knuckle curve. Full count. You're right, Ken. Actually, the Astros commentator said Pena can go after that one full of confidence because he knows that he's got a good fielder behind him. You know, Jordan's not the best outfielder, but he's solid. 96 just above the zone. He doesn't get the call. Hunter Brown thought he might have that high strike, but he didn't get it. It was just a little high. Could have been called either way. Ball 4, though. Spotter not happy about that. So on 2 outs, after the first 2 outs, a fly out and a strikeout, we have a double on a pop-up double. Unlucky pop-up. And then a missed strikeout that turns into a walk. Hunter Brown, Correa, Diaz have a little mini meeting on the mound. By the way, I have a little something to show all of you. I'm going to go ahead and post it. Now's a good time as any. You can just guess what that is. Joe Adele is at the plate. Here's the first pitch. That's in there. The knuckle curve, strike 1. This link that I just posted is a Google document that I made yesterday. I spent a lot of time. I looked at 3 different ways of doing the contest, the giveaway, and I settled on this way. Here's the pitch. This is a grounder to short. Pena scoops it up and fires the first, and he's got it, and that's out number 3. There we go. So the double by Trout, the lucky double, and the lucky walk. Hunter Brown gets around it and manages that final out. 1 hit, no runs. We go to the bottom of the first, and yeah, you're right, Ken. You're right about the cicadas, man. They're terrible. When I was in China, I was trying to shoot a movie there, and we were supposed to be finished shooting already before all of the cicadas came out, but everybody kept delaying, and we wound up having to go into summer to finish shooting the movie. And after everything was finished, and I took it all onto the video editor, the cicadas literally killed the audio. Everything sounded absolutely horrible. So what I had to do was I had to meet with all of the actors individually and record them doing their lines, and then go back and replace all of the audio for the final scenes of the film. It was so stupid. So much extra work that was put on me because of everybody not wanting to get together. But we had worked on that film for a year. That's not a joke. Almost every weekend for a year we worked on that film, and everybody just wanted to be finished, you know. But I was the one who wrote it, directed it, and edited all of it. They didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was kind of show up for a couple of hours, do a little bit of acting and stuff, and then go home. That was it. But I was literally editing and working on that film every day of my life for a year. I put in so much work on that movie. And all they did was complain. But I rented a movie theater, and we watched it together in the theater. And after they saw it, they fell in love with it. They couldn't believe it was as good as it was. You know, it's not. If you watch it, you'll realize it's not a good film. Of course, the premise, the plot, and all of that is good, but it's not professional. But it is cute. It is a cute film. It's about an hour and 29 minutes long. 1 ball, no strikes to Pena. Now 2-0. That pitch in the dirt outside. But all of the people in the movie, they were my English students. Everyone's Chinese in the film, and they were all speaking English. It was a huge challenge for me to do that. Here's the 2-0. Woo, little outside, 3-0. Good job, Flash. But yeah, those cicadas, they really caused me a lot of extra work that year. Outside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk. How about that? Soriano starts off his outing with a 4-pitch walk. That's good. The Flash is on base, baby. And guess who's up? Jordan Kill the Ball Alvarez. Yeah, Brendan, the umpires are a little off. We'll see how it goes. Luckily, we did get out of it without giving up any runs, Daryl. Soriano back up on the rubber. Air Jordan. With Pena on first base, no outs in the bottom of the first. Here's the first pitch. Ooh, man, 85 in the bottom of the zone, the knuckle curve. Gregory has multiple home run predictions. Sanchez and Walker. Gotcha. I agree. Let's hope our bats get it going. 97 inside on the sinker. Ball 1. 1-1 is the count. Tommy wants power. Yes, he do. Yes, he do. Pena's indeed a beast. And you're welcome, Glenn. I saw you said love the play-by-play. You're welcome. That's through. Jordan rips it through the right side. That thing was hit out there so hard that Pena does not have time to go to third. Runners on first and second thanks to Jordan. Look at this, right through the hole. Bam. They didn't have any time to react to that. It just went straight through. First hit for the Astros. 2 runners on for Mr. Jose Altuve. Pretty interesting. 3 times facing Soriano, 3 walks. Whoa! He immediately goes at his head. The crowd is booing. Take a look at this. Look at this first pitch. Yeah. Breaking ball that doesn't break. 1-0. 2 runners on, no outs. It's grounded to shortstop. Neto goes to third and gets the lead runner. Pena is out. Fielder's choice. Jordan at second. Altuve on first. 1 out. At least there was no double play. Might have been a good time to bunt the ball, right? Probably could have gotten Pena to third. I was kind of surprised that he didn't in that situation. Yeah, Brendan, usually it's a rocket, right? It's always strange whenever Jordan doesn't completely get the ball on this little tapper. It's a very strange thing to see. Correa at the plate. Woo! The knuckle curve. Low and outside. Correa completely misses it for strike 1. I don't have my coffee made yet, but I have my water sitting right here. Here comes the 0-1 rather. And did he go? Yes, he did. Another identical pitch. Correa couldn't hold up. Strike 2. Yep, that was the only play. Luckily for the Astros, there was no opportunity for them to get the double play. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. That's rocketed to the first base side. Man, home run distance, but foul by about 20 feet. Count remains 0-2. Coffee filter. Soriano gets the call that he wants. He comes set. And here's the 0-2. And that's strike 3. Correa takes it looking. So after swinging at a bad pitch, having a check swing at a bad pitch, fouling off a decent pitch, he takes a strike right down the middle. Not a good at bat for Mr. South Korea. Yeah, it looks like Correa was trying too hard, at least. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Let's see what he can do today. And here in the first inning. Wow, that was a tad below the zone, but the umpire liked it. And that's strike one. Next pitch from Soriano. On the way. In the dirt. 1-1. There we go. Coffee grounds ready to go. Next pitch from Soriano, the 1-1. On the way. Swing and a miss. 94 right below the zone. No contact at all on that one. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Jesus Sanchez took a big hack at that one. He swung the bat so hard, I think I felt it all the way over here in Japan. I'll talk a little more at the end of this inning about the giveaway, because I did put the link. It's pinned in the chat. Elbow, what's with the Altuve hate? Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Sanchez strikes out, and the Astros have several lobsters already. Four lobsters? No, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet Richard wants to know if it's Labor Day in Japan. No, it is not Labor Day in Japan. There's no holiday today that I'm aware of. Just had a holiday recently, within the past couple of weeks. Very important holiday, Obon. And has to do with honoring ancestors. There is a Japanese style Labor Day, but that's later. What I guess you could say what we call Thanksgiving in America, they actually have a, you could say it's like Thanksgiving for workers. Japan has a Thanksgiving for Workers Day. I guess you could say this is basically Labor Day, but that's not until November. It just happens to be around Thanksgiving in America. Yeah, Correa. It's funny that Elbow said that Altuve was stinking up, but he actually hit the ball. He actually put the bat on the ball. Correa and Sanchez were the ones stinking it up that inning with the striking out. It wasn't Altuve, so I don't know what you're talking about. Hunter Brown's back on the mound. Rengifo. Luis Rengifo. At the plate. 0-1 on that first pitch. Here comes the next toss. In the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of runners. Astros have 6 just in the first inning already. That's a ton. 6 lobsters in the first inning. Here's the pitch. 83. Outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Rengifo. There is a link in the chat. Here's the 2-1 pitch. This is grounded to the right side. Urias grabs it and lobs it over. Speaking of lobsters, he lobs it over to first for the first out. Next pitch. Next batter. That one was fouled off. d'Arnaud at the plate. 0-1 is the count. They're still talking about who's going to be pitching tomorrow because they could move Fromber into that spot, but it has not been decided yet. Garcia's over there in the bullpen. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fouls it off. The sinker inside. 0-2 is the count. That Google Documents link, if you click on that, there is a quiz that you can take. It's a 10-question quiz. And once you submit that, you have to do two things. You have to take the quiz, and then you have to email me your YouTube name. And when I have those two things, you'll be entered in the giveaway. That ball's high. Way high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to d'Arnaud. 1 out, nobody on base here in the top of the second. Whenever you do that, you'll be entered in my giveaway. All of the rules and all of that are listed there. Wow, look at that. Line drive straight to Christian Walker, who happens to be in the right spot for the opposite field line out. Out number 2. See if we can see that. Yeah. Perfect. Astros happened to be in the lucky spot that time. On defense instead of offense. Here's the next pitch. Way high. Here comes the next pitch. 94 miles an hour, up and in. They say he does not swing. 2 balls and no strikes to Matthew Lugo. Ken says that they should have a day that celebrates the retired nuclear plant workers that went in the contaminated facility to stabilize it. This is a broken bat to shortstop, fired over by Pena to Walker, and that's a 1-2-3 second inning for Hunter Brown and the Astros. It looks a little dark at Dyking Park. Is it raining out there? Thunderstorms today or something? Cloudy? It looks dark. Bottom of the second coming up. Christian Walker, Yainer Diaz, and Ramon Urias. I don't know enough about any of that, Ken. I don't think. I mean, I agree with your idea that if there were workers that literally did sacrifice their health and their lives to help the others, then they should definitely be recognized. But I would not support a holiday. That would be way too much. To have a holiday would be too much if that's what you're suggesting. But if there were guys that actually did that sacrificed their health in order to help other people in that situation, then I'm sure that they should, and they probably have been praised. I would imagine that they've already been praised, but to actually have a holiday, I would. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Tohoku, the Great Tohoku earthquake. The Great Tohoku earthquake of 2011. Trust me, I know it. I know it. But to have a holiday, I would not support that. 84 miles an hour up and in on Walker. 1 ball, no strikes. Okay. Okay, you guys confirmed it for me. Pouring rain, thunderstorms. Yeah, it looks like it outside. Outside the windows at Viking Park. Here's the next pitch. Knuckle curve right in there. 1-1 to Christian Walker. Here's the pitch. Ken, you said it was after the tsunami, but I think what you mean is it was after the earthquake. The tsunami was an effect of the earthquake, but it was an earthquake. But yeah. Strike 2 to Walker. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. This is grounded foul towards the dugout. Is my coffee ready? Yes, it is. Thank goodness. Not quite as hot as I was hoping, though. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Walker strikes out. How many times have I said that this season? I always wonder that. Every time I say it, it feels like deja vu. Christian Walker, the highest strikeout percentage rate. The amount of strikeouts doesn't bother me. It's the percentage of strikeouts that bothers me. I said the other day, and I'll say it again, that if Walker keeps thumping the ball, if he keeps hitting home runs consistently, like he did the other day, he had like 5 in a week or something. Crazy. Then I don't care if he just strikes out every time he comes to the plate. 1-0 to Diaz in the dirt. But this series, he has not been stellar. Two balls and no strikes to Diaz. 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the second. Here's the toss. Too far inside. 3-0. All right, Yiner. Good job. 3-0. Wagyu beef in Japan. I would say that it's much cheaper than in America. Here comes a 3-0. 98 right in there on the inside. 3-1. Of course, Wagyu beef is well known and loved, but it's everywhere. I can get it everywhere. 86, low and outside. I can go into the supermarket and pick it up. And I think that it's not something that I usually get. Full count pitch to Diaz on the way. Oh my gosh, Diaz chases. After a good start, the knuckle curve low and outside, the same one that struck out Correa. Well, Correa struck out looking on a strike, but 2 pitches that he went after. Exactly the same, low and outside. Out number 2, Ramon Urias comes to the plate. Here comes the first pitch. Knuckle curve way outside. He doesn't go for it. That's good. Nice to see somebody not hacking at it. It's a good question, Daryl. Just a little outside, 2-0. This guy is throwing a lot of balls. He's up to 30 pitches now. Astros should be walking instead of striking out. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Low and outside. There we go again. 3-0. So he starts Diaz off 3-0, comes back, strikes him out. Had a 4-pitch walk to Pena. Very first bat of the game. Arias is there. 98 right in the zone. So it looks like Soriano can throw a strike when he wants to. He's just trying too hard to be cute He's jacking up his pitch count. He's not wanting to put it in the zone. Here comes a 3-1 to Urias. 98, low and inside, fouled off. Now we have another full count. Well, this Cy Young, Brendan, at least he's 3.81. He's not too bad. He's not a 7 ERA Cy Younger, you know. But 32 pitches and only 18 strikes. He's throwing a lot more than he should have to. Hey, look at that. Urias lays off. He throws that same knuckle curve garbage. The knuckle curve outside, and he doesn't chase it. Astros batters, take note. Ramon Urias didn't go for the garbage. You don't have to either. Jacob Melton comes to the plate. Melton actually has probably a better chance of doing something against Soriano with that knuckle curve. 97 inside, ball 1. We have a runner on first base with that walk. Finally, somebody with a little bit of patience at the plate gets on. Jacob Melton, the player formerly known as Blade Rogers. In the dirt, low and inside, another ball fest by Soriano. 92 people watching right now. The live chat is a little quiet to have 92 people watching. But if you have the opportunity, I appreciate you putting a like on the video. Arigato. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. That's called a strike. Low and inside on that corner, just barely clipping it. 2-1. Just like that, Soriano is knocking at the door of 40 pitches. This next one, this is 38th. This is tapped on the right side to the second baseman, and he fires it over to first. I was expecting Melton to get the bat on the ball, and he did. He just didn't put it anywhere that's useful for the Astros. He grounds out for the third out of the inning. That's it for the second. 1 hit for the Astros in total. 1 hit for the Angels. At the end of 2, we have goose eggs. Oswald Peraza will be up at the plate in just a moment, followed by Zach Neto and Yohan Moncada. Let's see what the weather is like around here. Where is it? Where's the weather? Why isn't it showing me the... Oh, there it is. Okay. It's supposed to be just a little cooler today than it has been. It's cooling down in the next couple of days, they say. Thank goodness I can't take much more of the high temperatures and humidity. The high temperature today is going to be several degrees cooler than it has been. And then tomorrow it's supposed to be even just a little bit cooler. Let's see here. The high temperature they say around here today is going to be about 85. The temperature at night, later tonight, not right now, but later tonight, is going to be about 70 degrees. But it's supposed to go down just a little bit more after that. Still too high for September, though. I feel like the temperature is still too hot for September around here. Hunter Brown's back on the mound. Peraza at the plate. 95 right in there for strike 1. That's a good way to start it off. Shrewdly is in lurker mode, working in the shop. Good to have you here. Thanks for listening in, Shrewdly. I hope you don't mind my lo-fi style today. 94 on the inside, strike 2. Peraza didn't seem to like that too much, but that was obviously a strike. 0-2. Gerald says it's like Easter goose eggs. That's right. Instead of regular old chicken eggs, we get the big old goose eggs. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Hunter Brown doesn't make it competitive with the cutter low and outside. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the 1-2. Just below the zone, fouled away. A little bouncer down the third base side. Count remains 1-2. Hunter Brown up to 40 pitches with this next delivery. Brown not typically one to have a low pitch count. Here comes the toss. Knuckle curve in the dirt. 2-2. Brendan wants to know when it snows in Japan. It kind of depends on where you are. Japan is kind of almost kind of like the shape of California. Swing and a miss. 96 on the inside. That'll be a strikeout. Swing and a miss. Went away. Zach Neto comes to the plate. But in Hiroshima, if you're actually in the city, in that area, it's right on the, it's right at sea level. You do get some snow flurries and stuff. It's usually not that heavy. It's pretty light. Swing and a miss. The knuckle curve gets Neto going. He calls a timeout. He's got the children facial paint as usual. But I live at the base of a little mountain, and it's about, I don't know, maybe 1,800 feet above sea level. So I get some heavy snow out here. The first really big snow usually comes in December. 91 miles an hour, swing and a miss. 0-2. One out, nobody on. Here in the top of the third. We usually get a little bit of snow, light snow and snow flurries and stuff like that around here in December. But one time on Christmas Day, there was a huge snow a few years ago. That knuckle curve in the dirt will be ball 1-2 against Neto. But if you're up in Hokkaido, Brendan, Hokkaido is way up in the north. It's the big northern area. Probably snows a lot earlier. That area is much cooler. They have a winter festival out there. Tons of snow. There are also several places in Japan that are, the elevation is very high. Different ski locations. Even in Hiroshima, they have some ski locations. 96, a little too low and inside. Full count. There are mountains all over Japan, so even in some areas that aren't generally covered by snow, they can have a lot of snow because of the elevation and the mountainside. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Neto gets a little upset about that one. In the bottom of the zone, Neto's griping about it. Throw him out. Throw him out. 97 miles an hour sinker at the bottom of the zone. Look at him. He's like, yeah, you big baby. I'm not surprised. But it was a perfect pitch by Hunter Brown. Strikeout number 3. And out number 2. Moncada at the plate. That first pitch is outside, ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. Right in there. Nice. 95 mile per hour fastball. 1-1 to Moncada. 2 outs. Nobody on. Ken says my kid brother was the overnight DJ at a rock FM station in Phoenix in the early 70s. You guys sound a lot alike. That's funny. I did have a radio show in Louisiana, Northwestern State University in Natchitoches. 2 balls now and 1 strike to Moncada. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Knuckle curve on the outside, fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But while I was a student at NSU in Natchitoches, I had a 2-hour radio show once a week. Here's the pitch. 83 miles an hour on the knuckle curve, below the zone. He doesn't swing. Full count. Yeah, you're right, Shrewdly. He is. Old dog, you're right, too. He's always whining, always a crybaby. I hate that he hit a home run yesterday because I just can't stand to see guys like that succeed. And that's a walk. Ball in the dirt. So once again, just like the first inning, Hunter Brown gets 2 outs and then puts a guy on base. At least this time he starts it off with a walk instead of a double. Whenever I talk like this, a friend of mine says that it just puts him to sleep. When I'm talking all chill mode. Here comes the first pitch to Mike Trout. Last at bat, Trout got lucky with a double. 0-1 with that strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. The cutter way outside. Ball 1-1. You know, the Astros commentators pointed out something about Mike Trout, and they're right, now that I think about it. I think that he deserves a lot of respect for it. He's had a bunch of pitches that could have been called either way, ball or strike, where he was called out. Above the zone, 2 balls and 1 strike. He's been called out and received strikes on some pitches that could have been easily called a ball. And he hasn't said or showed any emotion. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't showed any emotion. He hasn't objected. He hasn't said anything to the umpire. This is grounded to the right side. Reyes makes a diving stop and throws him out at first base. Look at that. What a great play. So, Urias with a nice walk at the plate and then the nice diving defensive play. And that's going to be it for the Angels in the top of the third. Good play, saving the hit there. We go to the bottom of the third. Each team 1 hit, no runs. Jeremy Pena, the Flash, due up. Followed by Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve. Well, Daryl, see you love to watch the snow, just not being outside. I'll tell you what, my house here, the snow can get really heavy, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The snow on and around my house and on the mountain and covering the forest and even covering the roads and everything. It looks really, really wonderful. And the first snow of the year, it's always kind of exciting, and it's like, man, look how beautiful it is. But it's so freaking cold. And it gets old after a very short time. So after about 3 weeks, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm okay. I can move on from the snow, but it lasts. It sticks around. It stays pretty cold around here for a while. It stays colder around here for much longer than it does in the city because of the elevation and the mountain and everything, where I'm located. So December, January, February, March, April, all of those months are pretty cold. And I can see snow in any of those months. The Flash is at the plate. 97 right in the bottom of the zone, strike 1. Brendan says Neto is the Angels' version of Adolis Garcia. Very annoying. Yeah, he is annoying. Pena hits that really hard in the left center field. The center fielder is over to grab it. He gave it a ride. 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Almost put it in the gap. Good effort by Pena. But out number 1. Alvarez comes to the plate. Man, Jose Soriano is the second most pitches thrown in the MLB at 910. Paul Skeens is number 1, by the way. Here's a pitch. 84 miles an hour. At the bottom of the zone, strike 1 to Alvarez. Ken, I think you missed what we're talking about. Neto always whines. He always whines. Ball 1 to Alvarez. 1-1. Well, Max, you're right, but on the other hand, about Trout, but on the other hand, he doesn't do well in Dyking Park. Swing and a miss. Alvarez misses the splitter. 1-2 is the count. So Trout not doing well here in Dyking Park in this series. It's not a matter of luck. He doesn't do well here. Neither does Ohtani. Strike 3. First strikeout of the I guess you could say the return of Jordan. 92 miles an hour, outside and low. He goes down looking. Jordan's first strikeout. Yeah, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. I saw Jose Altuve coming to the plate, and I was about to say Jose Ohtani. Ooh, low and outside in the dirt, swing and a miss. 2 outs, nobody on for Altuve. But all of the big hitters, the best hitters in the major leagues, don't do well in Dyking Park. It has nothing to do with luck. It's because of the pitching and the environment. The combination is difficult for those guys. So strike 2 right in there. 0-2 to Altuve. The San Antonio Rattlers. This is grounded to shortstop. Neto lobs it over to first base. Easy chopper to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down for Soriano, who's closing in on 50 pitches total. He's averaging about 16 pitches per inning right now. Little high, but manageable. It seems to be his MO. That's right, Casey. On the other, well, you know what? Not everybody. Not everybody has another hand. Most people have fingers on their other hand, but some people don't have more fingers or another hand. But most do. Yeah, I know about that. That's kind of infamous, isn't it? But shrewdly, I think Neto probably has issues with several different pitchers. He thinks that they're out to get him. It's funny, though, if you look at the way... Maybe that's the reason Mike Trout doesn't complain. He gets a pitch that's 2 or 3 inches outside the zone. They ring him up for strike 3, and he just walks away. Like, cool as a cucumber. Just walks back to the dugout. I respect that a lot. I have no respect for somebody who starts yelling and complaining at the umpire. I don't care if it's 3 inches outside the zone. When I played baseball and something like that would happen, I would never say anything to the umpire. Because number one, it will never change anything. And number two, it's useless. Do you really want the umpire to be angry with you if he makes a bad call? Do you really want to rub him the wrong way? It's useless. They are showing some highlights from the ALCS Game 6, 2020. Man, look at Fromber's hair there. That's crazy. Here comes the first pitch from Hunter Brown to Taylor Ward. That's hit high in the air to center field, but shallow. Pena grabs it for out number one. Nice and easy. One pitch, one out. But I was thinking that it's kind of funny that Neto goes so crazy so easily, and Mike Trout is the opposite. So maybe Mike Trout's like, you know what? We can't have two guys on the team that are like that. So Neto is loud, obnoxious, and annoying, and Mike Trout is just calm and cool as a cucumber. 1 ball, no strikes to Joe Adele. 1 out, nobody on. Well, that's one of the reasons why it's you gotta love Altuve. Sometimes on that first pitch, he blasts it out of the park. That's a broken bat to third. Correa scoops it up, fires the first, makes a good play. 2 pitches to Adele. 2 outs. 3 pitches into the inning, we have 2 up and 2 down. And that broke his bat. Let's see if we can see it here. Yeah, you can see pieces of the bat break off. It didn't completely shatter, but it cracked the bat. Luis Rengifo. Somebody in the chat told me yesterday they were trying to correct my pronunciation, but when they wrote it in the chat, I thought they were trying to say Rengifo. That's in there for strike one, 1-1. So if you, I know in English, if you type he in English, it's he, but in Japanese it's he. So when I see he, I automatically think he. This is what happens when you live in China and Japan for nearly 14 years. Your pronunciation, you immediately see it. It starts to change a little bit. If I'm teaching English, I'm in a different mode. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rengifo. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, the knuckle curve hits the plate. 2-2 is the count. Yeah, you're right, Fred. I think everybody knows that Neto is a whiner. People who don't acknowledge that, they just don't know him very well, or they're ignoring it. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Full count. The knuckle curve low and inside in the dirt. Oh yeah, Stephen Wright. It sounds like a Stephen Wright joke, Casey. 94 right in the zone, and he knew it, and he runs straight to the dugout. That's strikeout number 4. 1-2-3 inning for Hunter Brown. So Hunter Brown, it's funny, he struggles a little bit, just a little bit every other inning. First inning, a little rough, got out of it. Second inning, 1-2-3. Third inning, a little rough, got out of it. Fourth inning, 1-2-3. Interesting. So we get the roller coaster. It's a mild roller coaster. You could say maybe a Disney roller coaster. That's what it is. Hunter Brown is a Disney roller coaster so far today. It's kind of like, I can handle it. I get motion sickness on roller coasters at the theme parks, but at Disney, I can handle it. That's literally true for me. I get motion sickness, so I can't do the roller coasters. I will definitely puke, and I'll feel sick for the rest of the day. But if I go to Disneyland or Disney World, their roller coasters are not that aggressive. so I can actually handle their roller coasters. That's the kind of roller coaster that Hunter Brown has us on today. Yeah, Ken, I think every day is a perfect example for ABS, the automatic ball strike system. They used it during the All-Star game, right? I think it worked pretty well. And the cool thing is that 100% of the challenges were overturned. So, pretty cool. The players and the pitchers were able to get them right on. Eric says, I take it you weren't a big Milton Bradley fan then? Oh man, we had a lot of board games when I was a kid. Sweet Richard says, I didn't think you were allowed to argue balls and strikes. Of course you are. Of course you're allowed to. But if you push too hard, you're going to get tossed out of the game. But have you guys ever seen an umpire overturn a ball or a strike call? I've never seen it in my entire life. That's why I think it's useless. That's why it's silly for the players to argue and yell about it. It doesn't matter how egregious it is. What are you going to do? Nothing you do can overturn it. That's a ball, rather. Strikeout last time at the plate for Correa. 96 at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. That is a strike. Come on, Mr. South Korea. Let's go. Yeah, Ken, he has been performing pretty well over there. Here's a pitch. Up the middle, diving catch by Rengifo. Wow, saved a single. What a diving catch there. And that was a good play. 50 pitches now for Soriano. Look at this one. One away. Jesus Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Come on, Sanchez. Low and inside, they say he didn't swing on the check. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, so far it's the shutout show. We're almost halfway through the 4th inning. 92 outside, 2-0. Yeah, I remember Risk. I never really understood Risk, though. Didn't become one of my favorites. 96, right in there. Dana Brown. Is that, yeah, back there, behind the on-deck circle. 2 balls, 1 strike to Sanchez. General manager staring at Christian Walker on deck there. That's funny. Here comes the next pitch to Sanchez. 99 right in there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, we had a lot of board games too. When I was very young, we really liked playing them. Here's a pitch. 98 just misses inside. That was close. Good call by the ump, though. Full count. 1 out, nobody on. Come on, Sanchez. You can do it. Buddy Sanchez. 3-2 pitch from Soriano on the way. Swing and a miss. 93, low and outside. The splitter gets Sanchez. Completely misses that one. Another strikeout. 2 away. 1 hit for the Astros through 3 2/3 of an inning. Christian Walker, speaking of strikeout, comes to the plate. Of course, he has 1 strikeout already today. First pitch is grounded over to the third base side, and they throw him out at first. So Walker grounds out on 1 pitch. 1, 2, 3. 3 up and 3 down for Soriano. He's up to about 57 pitches or so through 4 innings. He's getting a little better as he goes along. The Astros are getting worse at the plate. Maybe a little bit of both. Hunter Brown would be back up on the mound in just a moment. He's at 66 pitches, only 36 strikes. He's thrown way too many balls in this game. We're finished with 4 complete innings, 0-0. Each team 1 hit. What an interesting game. I'm glad that I got up at 2:15, 2:30 in the morning for this game. As long as it doesn't end like yesterday's game, I'll be happy with that. But it's cruising along. We're almost halfway through. I think that means I might be able to go back to sleep a little bit earlier than I thought. It's about 4:17 a.m. here right now. No 4th inning sparks, unfortunately, Gregory. I wish I could say otherwise. Yeah, Max, like I said, whenever if you spell it this way, whenever I see that, to me that is run he fo, run he fo, run or ren he fo. Just because I'm pronouncing it Japanese style. But if you type this and I know that in English that's hi, but in Japanese that would be he. Hunter Brown back on the mound. Here is the pitch to Travis d'Arnaud. 92 inside, ball 1. Battleship. Yeah, we used to play Battleship. We were always trying to cheat. We loved Monopoly. We played Monopoly a lot. Also had Life. Played Life a lot. 95 inside, fouled off. 1-1 is the count. I don't know if all of you had the same experience, but whenever we would play Life, you know, you have a little car and you put your little people in there, like yourself, your wife, your kids and stuff. We'd always wind up with so many kids that'd be lying around in the car. Did the same thing happen to you? It was pretty funny. You just keep getting kids. It's like you'd have like 8 or 9 people in the car moving your pieces around the board. It was kind of crazy. 1-1 pitch to d'Arnaud on the way. 95 up and in, fouled off. 1-2. You know, Eric, yeah, that's the primary reason, I guess you could say. He had, because of his ability to thump the ball and be healthy. Another broken bat there. Pena's going to have to make that play quick, and he does. d'Arnaud completely shatters his bat. That's interesting. Multiple bats have been broken by Hunter Brown this game. They said that the Angels are going to have plenty of extra firewood for the winter. Low and inside on the sinker, ball 1 to Matthew Lugo. 1 out, nobody on for the Angels. Yeah, Uno is a nice card game, but it's not a board game. We used to play Uno a lot as a kid. I mean, heck, I even played Uno with some friends when I got to be an adult. Uno is also well known here in Japan. Everybody knows Uno. Fouled away by Lugo, and it's 1-1. You want to see some Hunter Brown strikeouts? Well, he's got a few. Not many, but he's got a few. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lugo with 1 out. Here's the pitch. That's a nice pitch in the bottom of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hunter Brown has 72 pitches right now, 73, and 41 strikes. Lugo takes a timeout. Four strikeouts so far for Hunter Brown. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, there's another strikeout. Strikeout number 5 on the knuckle curve. Lugo comes back into the batter's box and just freezes on the knuckle curve. I just realized that my screen in the back is not displaying correctly. Oswald Peraza up at the plate, and he hits it. Are you kidding me? The very first pitch, Oswald Peraza comes up on the very first pitch, hits it into the bullpen. 1-0 Angels. Solo homer. On the very first freaking pitch. Oswald Peraza's first home run as an Angel. Slider outside. Right off the barrel of the bat. Didn't break that one. Right into the bullpen, the Astros bullpen. 1-0. Nice quiet homer. Nobody in the stadium is cheering at all. Zach Neto at the plate. He's probably going to be thinking homer too. At least it wasn't Neto. Come on, strike out Neto. Get him out, please. Yeah, Gregory. Great pitch for strikeout. Next pitch, terrible. Yeah, it could have been better. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. I see some water leaking on the field. Even with the roof closed, I can see water leaking on the field, dripping down. That's interesting. 2 balls now and no strikes to Neto. Here comes the 2-0. That's hit high in the air. Pena's underneath it. And that's out number 3, but the Angels, with their second hit of the game, get on the board first. Hunter Brown is the first to snap. He bends a little too far, and the Angels are up 1-0. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Come on. There we go. All right. That's fixed. Let's take a look at those scores right quick, shall we? Red Sox winning 5-1 over the Pirates at the end of the 6th. Wow, the Blue Jays beating up on the Brewers 8-4 at the end of the 5th. Mariners up 4-2 in the top of the 7th over the Guardians. Come on, Guardindians. Tigers up over the Royals 4-0. Now everything is backwards today. All of the teams that lost yesterday that the Astros needed to lose lost, and today they all seem to be winning. Yankees are even winning 2-1 over the White Sox. Rangers don't play until later. Maybe another hour or so from now. Yeah. I will remind all of you, if you want to enter my giveaway, remember that my giveaway, my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, is pinned in the chat. I will put it in the chat again. Just so you can see it. There you go. This is a Google form. Well, Diaz hits the first ball. Right out there to left center field. Caught for out number 1 right off the bat. One down, and Ramon Urias at the plate. He walked his last at bat. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. I wouldn't really call that an upset, Sweet Richard. That's a strike. The knuckle curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. 98 miles an hour, just below the zone. 2-1 is the count. LSU is a top 10 team, so I'd say it's a mild surprise that LSU beat Clemson at home. Clemson had the upper hand for sure, being at home, but I think that Clemson is almost always overrated, so I don't really consider that an upset. LSU's defense was stellar yesterday. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Urias. Takes that one outside, full count. I didn't get to see the game because I was doing this game. I'm aware of Clemson's ranking. LSU was ranked 9, I believe. 98 on the outside edge, fouled away. But telling me that Clemson was ranked number 4 doesn't mean anything to me. It's the very first game of the year. Clemson was shoehorned in at 4. LSU was placed at 9th. Doesn't really mean much. This is bounced to short. Neto fires it over to first. A little low, but it's there for out number 2. Jacob Melton. So I don't really consider that an upset. Just because one team beats another doesn't mean it's an upset. That's all I'm saying. It's not a maybe you don't. What? Okay, Richard, define an upset. Tell me what an upset is. 97 outside. Because you and I are disagreeing on what an upset is. I don't think it's an upset. Jacob Melton, 1-0 with no outs. Here's the pitch. A little low, 2-0. Because I'm not going to bicker about the game. I just disagree with you. It doesn't matter what you say. I'm going to say that it wasn't an upset yesterday. But maybe your idea of an upset is different than mine, and that's fine. 97 at the bottom of the zone. Swinging a foul ball on that 97 mile per hour stinker. 2-1 is the count. It's obvious? Okay. If it's obvious what an upset is, then you can have a timeout for 24 hours. How about that? No more chatting with you in the chat. I don't bicker in the chat. When people start bickering with me in the chat, then they have a timeout. It's 4:30 in the morning, and I'm definitely not going to deal with bickering. 3 balls and 1 strike to Melton now. Here comes the next pitch. That's a little tapper. So Melton taps it twice on the infield, 2 in a row to be retired, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. Nothing doing for the Astros in the bottom of the 5th, so it's 1-0. The Astros don't answer. 2 hits for the Angels, 1 hit for the Astros, but the only hit that matters so far is that solo shot. It's 1-0 going into the top of the 6th. Hunter Brown at 78 pitches already. Next inning might be his last. We'll see how it goes. Sarcastic Prodigy coming in and making me feel a little better with that $10 super chat. After feeling insulted by the nonsensical bickering. Thank you so much. Let me change my keyboard right quick so I can type in Japanese. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much for that second super chat, Sarcastic Prodigy. So I've got the super chat today from. I got a couple of super chats today. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it, especially at this time of night or morning, whatever you want to call it. I can't see the sun coming up yet. Usually it starts to, you can start to see it around 4:30 in the morning. Gregory says, I'm a Texas A&M Aggies football fan. Aggies are one of those teams that are always, they seem to be always in the discussion. For being in the running for the national championship, typically. Hunter Brown on the mound. The first pitch is a ball to Moncada. Next pitch is on the way. 86 miles an hour, fouled away. 1-1. Roberts says Clemson and Alabama are overrated. It's like saying Ohio State upset Texas. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just because a team is ranked 4th and another team is ranked 9th doesn't mean that it's an upset whenever the 9th team beats the 4th team. It's not an upset. Sometimes it is, but not always. If you have a very weak 9th team and a very strong 4th team, I would agree that that's an upset. But considering how I thought that LSU was the better team, and I'm an LSU fan anyway, but I thought LSU was definitely the better team. So to me, it's not an upset. So when I ask somebody what is an upset, and their answer to me is it's obvious, then they're just being confrontational and they're not having a good, positive, good faith conversation. If somebody can't have a good faith conversation with me, then I don't talk to them. It's that simple. I don't care who they are. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ground to the right side. It hit the bag though. Walker grabs it. Moncada didn't really run, so he didn't have time to get down the line. Pretty interesting on that play. Chopper that hit the back of the bag and it just happened to go Walker's way. That was nice. Look at this. Yeah, it bounced on the bag. Literally, it hit on top of the bag. How often do you see that? Walker was able to go step on it. Lucky. Out number 1. Mike Trout at the plate. 94 on the inside. Strike 1. Brendan says, I didn't know a lot of the personal stuff on your quiz. I gave up. Well, that's one of the reasons why I made it that way, because I really want to reward people who have been here, and that's hit pretty deep, the center field, but caught by Melton at the track for out number 2. Taylor Warden will be up next. For those of you who are taking my quiz for the giveaway, you'll notice some of the questions are harder than others. Some of them you might not know, but there's a reason for that. I really wanted to do my best to reward those who have been here on the channel and who listen and really know me and the channel. I think those people are the ones that deserve most to win, instead of just randomly giving it away. That's the reason I made the quiz that way. Instead of just making it like a lucky number drawing, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure that whoever won really kind of knew me and the channel. 2 balls and no strikes to Taylor Ward. Hey, Abel, welcome back to Houston. No internet on the plane, that sucks. But you didn't miss too much. Too far inside, 3-0 to Taylor Ward. 2 outs and nobody on. So is Brown going to go back? No, this is supposed to be a good solid inning, right? Struggle, easy, struggle, easy, struggle. This inning is supposed to be easy, so he's supposed to get the out right here. Ward takes a moment to step out of the box. Daryl says, I'm a Longhorn fan. My high school was the Dobie Longhorns. Below the zone. Taylor Ward on a 4-pitch walk. Hunter Brown has a 2-out base runner. Joe Adell comes to the plate. Texas was ranked number 1. They had trouble with their first game, unfortunately. Yeah, Robert, that's the thing. Some people just want to be right. They want to be difficult. They don't care about facts. They don't care about having an honest, good faith discussion. They don't care about getting along. They just want to stir crap up. And whenever that happens, I just walk away. I don't deal with that anymore. 1 ball, no strikes. Another ball from Hunter Brown. Here comes a 1-0 pitch to Adell. Another ball. That's 6 straight balls from Hunter Brown. The knuckle curve missing below the zone. 2-0. Yeah, you know, Ken, the good thing is that you can guess, at the very least. You know, try to guess. Here's a pitch. That's ripped to the left side. Right through the hole on the left side. Adell is on with a single. Now there are 2 runners on first and second with 2 outs. Josh Miller wants to say, whoa, 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 let's hold it up a little bit and have a little discussion. He's going to slow it down. Good opportunity for that, I think. Here in the 6th inning, Hunter Brown up to 91 pitches. Eric, pretty harsh. I don't know about any of that, but I think it's interesting. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe that's why sarcastic prodigy. Maybe a certain person was upset that the Tigers beat the fake Tigers. The real Tigers won yesterday. Maybe he was upset about that. Who knows? Maybe he lost some money. Who knows the reason? In the dirt. But I really feel kind of sad because that's in the dirt. 1-0. Another ball from Hunter Brown. Luis Rengifo at the plate. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. Changeup outside. 1-1. We've got runners on first and second with 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the next toss. That's a chopper up the middle. Pena charges, and he lobs it over to first. Easy. Easy 3rd out. Luckily, Hunter Brown gets out of that one with no extra damage done. 94 pitches. 52 strikes for Hunter Brown. That's it for the 6th inning. So Hunter Brown manages to finish 6th. That's good. 1 run. Another good performance by our pitching staff today. And yet another lackluster performance by the offense. It's amazing that the Astros, obviously they were trying too hard. It was an emotional thing, you know, like a mental thing rather, a mental block. They were pressing too hard. when they went through their terrible drought. They seemed to get out of it. They started hitting the ball like crazy. And now in this series, they've suddenly just kind of shut down yesterday and today. It's like they've regressed. They've forgotten everything that they learned. Just one hit through 5 innings. Yesterday they couldn't get it done. They're not getting it done today. Now yesterday they were getting hits. That's the thing. Yesterday was more disappointing than today. And the reason is because they had so many opportunities. They had so many hits and so many guys on base and didn't bring them in. Today, just one hit. 7 lobsters. So they're not doing nearly as bad with left on base guys today as they did yesterday. But yesterday they were getting a ton of hits. Ton of guys. Well, I say a ton of hits. They had a moderate amount of hits and a lot of guys on base. They had a lot of walks. We had plenty of opportunities, but weren't bringing them in. Darryl, you called it earlier about the mound visit. You got that right. That's funny, Jay. Jeremy Pena, the flash at the plate, takes that first pitch low and outside. He doesn't swing at it. That's nice. Whoops. I'm typing in Japanese. I need to type that in English. That's hit on the left side. A chopper to the third base side. Nice throw. Jeremy Pena said, hey, that's foul. They're going to say that's out number 1. Jeremy Pena was saying it was foul. Let's take a look at it from this angle. Unfortunately, not a reviewable play. Out number 1. So the flash goes down, and that leads to Jordan. First pitch is a ball. 1-0. It's funny, Jay Paul said that the Astros offense looks like Arch Manning, but the sports commentators were defending him yesterday. They were saying that it was play calling. The coaches lost the game because they mixed up the play calling. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Alvarez. That almost hit him. Low and inside, 3-0. Might get a walk on Jordan here. But anyway, it's funny that you mention Arch Manning, because they were really defending him. That's ball 4 inside on Alvarez. A 4-pitch walk. We have a runner on with 1 out for Jose Altuve. So, Jay Paul, I think you probably won't be surprised when you hear that, right? That the sports commentators were defending Arch Manning and blaming the coaches and their game plan for the performance yesterday. Altuve over 2 today with a ground out. Let's see if he can do something different here. Maybe a little visit to the Crawford boxes. Give the Astros the lead, Altuve. You can do it, Superman. Let's go. Ooh, 96 right in the bottom of the zone. Strike 1. 1 away and Jordan on first base. Let's go. Yeah, we have 1 hit, King Tuck. Just 1. We've had a few runners on, though. There have been some walks. Three walks, 1 hit. 0-1 is the count to Altuve. Here comes a pitch from Soriano. 85-mile-per-hour knuckle curve right in there, taken for strike two. So Altuve's not hacking at the ball, but he's taking strikes. One low in the zone, and then the curveball right on the inside. Is he just luring him into a false sense of security? He grounds that one to short. Might be a double play, and it is. Are you kidding me? That's an inning-ending double play. Wow. Sixth inning is over. No hit this inning. One hit for the Astros through 6. No runs. Thankfully, no errors, but the Astros are down 1-0. We've got 3 innings left of ball. What a game. You're right. You're right, Robert. I agree with you. They were saying that, oh, he was taken out of his element. It was all on the coaches. It was a play calling. It didn't match his style. Well, yeah, but that's what you practiced in the off season, right? That's what you practiced before the season began. Isn't that right? I don't know. I feel like they were covering for him. Fred says Arch was an Astro relief pitcher. He did not have his control in order. Passes all over the place. That's funny. Well, the good thing is that, remember that the Astros typically play better against the harder teams. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe so. Travis d'Arnaud will be up to bat in just a moment. Let's see who's going to be the pitcher for the Astros. Hunter Brown is at 94 pitches. His day is likely done. Google accounts, people and sharing section. People and sharing. Where is it at? Profile. Manage your Google account. I see. Oh my gosh, we got Lance McCullers on the mound. Keep your fingers crossed, but he's got 2 strikes already before I can even get back to the game. On Travis d'Arnaud, that one's low for ball 1. 1-2. Lance McCullers. Next pitch on the way. 82, fouled off. The count remains 1-2. Yep, I agree, Hashman. The offense has to step up. They have to. Swing and a miss. First time coming out of the bullpen for Lance McCullers in 7 years. Gets the strikeout for out number 1. Nightbot. Okay, the setting is much, much better than before. Much, much better than before. It's not spamming like it did yesterday. First pitch to Matthew Lugo is a ball. 1 away and nobody on here in the top of the 7th. McCullers on the mound for the Astros. 91 up and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Here comes the pitch. Fouls it off at the plate. Two balls and one strike to Lugo. Yeah, it was a nice start, Prodigy, with the strikeout. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Nice sinker, low and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, King Tuck, I don't understand the lineup that they're going with right now. Putting Jordan second, I really don't get it. Altuve and Jordan should be swapped. Low and outside, a little kind of a check swing. Full count. Three and two on the way from McCullers. That's hit up the middle. Should be playable by Melton, and it is. He's got it for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Oswald Peraza, who has the only RBI this game with a solo home run off of Hunter Brown, he comes to the plate. First pitch to Peraza is on the way. 91 in the top of the zone, strike 1. Absolutely does. Get ahead in the count, good things happen. Usually. Here's the pitch. Nice. Speaking of getting ahead in the count, 0-2 to Peraza with 2 outs. How dare you? That's right, Altuve. King Tuck. How dare you? Here's the 0-2. Ooh, too far inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the next toss. Grounded foul down the third base side. The count remains 1-2. Another broken bat, looks like. This time off of McCullers. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Ooh, foul tip. Bounces off the glove of Diaz. Just missed a strikeout there. Could definitely use a Batman pinch hit home run. That'd be nice. Just hope they don't bring him in, let him hit, and then take him out of the game. And then not have a backup catcher like they did the other day. That'd be silly. Ground ball. Correa dives for it and he can't get it. No clean inning here. No completely clean inning. A little dirty. 2 outs and then a single given up by McCullers. He misses the opportunity for the strikeout. Thanks for dropping the foul tip, Diaz. And of course, we get to see our buddy Zach Neto again. Here comes the first pitch. Right in there, 92 miles an hour, strike 1. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. 92 at the bottom of the zone. 0-2 is the count. Runner on first, 2 outs, and 2 strikes. Yeah, he's still got a little bit more time left on that concussion protocol. He got hit so many times by the baseball that they put him into concussion protocol. McCullers throws it over to first base to reset the pitch clock. Battiaz, maybe. Right, Gregory? Battiaz. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. The runner is stealing. Here's the throw. It goes into center field. He's going to head to third. No, he goes... He came up too slow. He started to go, but Melton was there to grab it, thankfully. Terrible throw by Diaz. Just went way out into center field. I think it slipped out of his hand. 1-2 is the count to Neto with a runner on second. 20 pitches now for McCullers. Here comes the next one. Too far inside. 2-2. Yeah, King Tuck Jake is supposed to be... Isn't he supposed to be starting his assignment? His minor league assignment? If he hasn't already. Here comes the next pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Finally gets the third out. Lance McCullers gets 2 strikeouts. 1 hit. 1 stranded runner. 1-0. The Angels with 4 hits. The Astros with 1. 1-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. Carlos Correa due up, followed by Jesus Sanchez and Christian Walker. I'm going to go grab a drink right quick. 7th inning stretch, guys and gals. If you have been sitting down for too long, remember to get up and move around. I need to get the blood flow going in my legs. I shouldn't have been sitting down this long, but it is what it is. We'll be right back. Go Astros and all that good stuff. Be right back. Be right back. Be right back. Oh, yeah, be right back. Can't believe I actually managed to make it back before the first pitch. Carlos Correa at the plate. 97 on the inside, strike one. Jose Soriano still on the mound. 82 pitches with the next delivery. Here comes the next toss. Low and outside, ball one. 1-1. Astros need Lady Luck to show up. That's true. That is true. Inside, ball two. Next pitch to Correa on the way. 97 in the bottom of the zone, taken for strike two. Two balls and two strikes to South Korea. Come on. Woo. A little far inside. 3-2. Come on, man. Let's do it. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Do it, do it, do it. Correa finally swings 99 at the bottom of the zone. So Soriano here in the 7th inning on his 86th pitch throws it 99 miles an hour. Correa can't put the bat on it. Correa finally swings the bat at probably the most difficult strike that Soriano has thrown the entire game. No doubt. No doubt. Sanchez comes to the plate. Way outside, ball one. Maybe Sanchez. We'll see. Ouch. That was a painful cough. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. This is grounded to the right side. Praz is able to take it himself. Out number 2. Christian Walker at the plate. This is the last day of the month in August. OPS, batting average, homers, RBIs, all these categories. Christian Walker is leading the Astros in the month of August. So he has been the #1 guy this month. But he's 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. That first pitch is a ball. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside. Now would be a good time to thump it, wouldn't it? 2 balls and no strikes on that knuckle curve. Yeah, he did, Tuck. Sanchez destroyed that ball. Here's the pitch. Check swing, below the zone. They say he went. Strike one. You're right, Tuck. Tommy would definitely be happy with just 1 runny. Diaz drank the zombie juice today. Hit the ball like over the fence. That'd be nice. Swing and a miss. 86 miles an hour on the knuckle curve. Right outside the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Here's the 2-2. Did he go? They say he did, but it gets by the catcher. Is he going to be able to make the throw? It pulls Peraza off the bag, or did he stay on? They say he stayed on. So Walker strikes out. The ball gets by the catcher. Walker doesn't seem to hustle down the line so much. The throw pulls the first baseman off the bag, but they say kept his foot on. It looks like the Angels did everything possible there to help Walker out. Walker strikes out again. 2 strikeouts and a ground out for Walker today. Who cares what kind of month a person has had whenever it's, what have you done for me lately? That's the feeling that people always have, right? Who cares that he was awesome in August? Today's August 31st. What are you doing today? That's the way everybody feels. Yeah, it's been a miserable month. You're right about that. It's been very difficult, King Tuck. Thank you about the buddy Sanchez. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cute, funny. I like it. Most people really like it. Was he running in water? Yeah. That's right. That's a good question. Maybe the water was coming down and he was trying to avoid it while he was running. He was dancing around it. 7 innings finished here in Daikin Park. The Astros with a 1-hitter against the Angels. Jose Soriano. Moncada is due up, followed by Mike Trout and Taylor Ward. Let me see how many people have responded. Okay, I've got, it looks like I've got 6 responses so far. So far I've got 6 responses to my giveaway. Very interesting. Okay. McCullers is back on the mound. While I'm checking on the giveaway, he's been busy throwing pitches. That's strike 2. The count is 2-2 to Moncada. I hope so, Daryl. I appreciate that, and I'm trying to make it fun. It's a little difficult right now considering the time of day and the Astros not performing so well. But I do what I can. Health and how I feel doesn't always help. Here's the full count pitch outside. That's a walk. Full count walk. Leadoff runner on base. But who cares? This is the important thing, that we show the dogs in Astros uniforms out on the field. That's the important thing. Yeah, let's bring the dogs out on the field. Who cares about baseball and the Astros hitting the ball? What we care about is pugs with Astros uniforms on. First pitch to Mike Trout is a strike. 82-mile-per-hour slider. Runner on first base, no outs. 30th pitch for McCullers on the way. That's hit really hard out into left center field, pretty deep, and it's off the wall. Angels are going to have a second run off that one. Trout crushes it, just shy of a homer in left center field. And that's a double. 2 doubles for Mike Trout. The first one was a lucky one. This one was crushed. Right in there. Fastball. Missed the spot. Wow. Just shy of a homer. Just right below that yellow line. How was that not a home run? 2-0 Angels. That's right. Who let the dogs out indeed. 91 in the bottom of the zone. Taylor Ward at the plate. No outs, runner on second. Here is the pitch. Slider outside, 1-1. Yeah, Mariners can't help us out all the time. Here's the pitch. 80 miles an hour inside. Yeah, I'm disappointed with Walker, but it's not just Walker today. It's basically all the Astros today. 2 balls and 1 strike to Taylor Ward. Here comes the next toss from McCullers. Just a little outside, 3-1. Yeah, you're right, King Tuck. Who cares about baseball? We need more dogs. Batter steps out of the box for a break. Three and one pitch on the way. Ward takes that one at the very bottom of the zone for strike 2, and the count is full. Here comes the 3-2. Fouled off right in the zone. The sinker. Count remains 3-2. But you know what? Who cares about that? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the dogs. Yes, this is what we need to be looking at. These things. Not the baseball game. Here comes the pitch. 90 above the zone. Taylor Ward walks on the full count. Now we have runners on first and second with no outs. Josh Miller going to come out again, this time to talk to Lance McStrikers. Lance McWalkers? Lance McInconsistencers. I want to go back to that image. Darn it. What in the world is going on? No. Stop being stupid. There we go. There we go. Joe Adell is now at the plate. First pitch is a ball. Second one is a foul tip. Strike 1. 1-1 is the count. Here comes the next toss. Grounded foul. Little tapper. Little tapper down the first base side. 1-2 to Adell. Runners on first and second, no outs. This is another opportunity for the Astros to get that triple play that I've been wanting the whole year. Basically my whole life, I've never seen the Astros actually get one live. 91 miles an hour right in there on the edge. That'll be a strikeout. No triple play, but out number 1. McCullers gets on the strikeout. Rengifo at the plate. 91 inside. Ball 1. 1 out, 2 runners on. Next pitch on the way. Bottom of the zone, he fouls it off. 1-1. You're right. You're right, Michael. The girl was a cutie. The dog was okay. She was definitely not a dog. Here's a pitch. Fouls it off his leg for a strike 2. 1-2 is the count. That's right, Michael. Tune into the dog show and a baseball game erupted. What kind of nonsense is that? The dogs are not the only ones taking a crap on the field today. That's hilarious, Prodigy. Here's a pitch. Little tapper to the mound. McCullers tries to throw it to first base. Doesn't work out. And of course, Trout scores. Three to nothing. You can see this tapper right up the middle, but McCullers made a running throw. Walker had to make an adjustment to try to catch, and he just couldn't. I don't think that was a really bad throw. Walker just... Yeah, McCullers is blaming himself for it, but I don't necessarily think that was a bad throw. Walker just wasn't prepared for it. But info came down on the bag oddly. But the result is another run. We have runners on the corners with 1 out. You can see it right here. Yeah, he's running on the grass right there. He's out of the baseline in the grass. He's blocking the throw. So that's not all on the Astros. That's Rengifo running on the grass. That's interference. Interference, and the umps don't call it. Look at this. The running lane is on the line. He runs in the grass. Look at that. He deliberately runs in the grass. Obviously running in the grass. No call. Umpires let the Angels get away with the illegal running in the grass. It's bad enough that we can't hit the ball, but whenever they're letting them do that, you know. Travis d'Arnaud is at the plate, takes the first pitch for strike 1. Here's the next toss, and that hits him on the hand. Okay, bases are loaded with 1 out. They're going to double check to see if he was swinging. And they say no, he did not swing. So that'll be hit by pitch. Things starting to unravel and get out of hand here. Yeah, that was right on the forearm. Couple of walks, couple of hits, hit by pitch. Umpires helping out on illegal base running. Yeah. So how are you guys doing? Here comes the pitch. Matthew Lugo at the plate right now. Levi, he was running in the grass. He was not in the baseline. He was running in the grass. Oh, 0-2 is the count against Lugo. Yeah, I think so too, Michael. I think he leaned into the pitch. There's a pop-up to Diaz. No, Walker calls him off. He's got it. Thank you, Walker. Not that Diaz can't catch it, but I think Walker has a better angle on it. Second out. Bases remain loaded. 3-0 here in the top of the 8th. DeLion says, yeah, let's just leave him in the rest of the game, I guess. You might as well. You might as well. At this point, who really cares? 3-0. You got 1 more inning to go after this. Hey, look at that catch by McCullers. What a catch! Beautiful defensive grab by McCullers, and he throws it to first to get himself out of a jam. Wow. Look at this. 105 miles an hour, and he snatches it. Wow. So a rough inning for McCullers, but he limits the damage to 2 runs. Holy freaking cow. We go into the bottom of the 8th. The Astros are down by 3. 5 hits for the broken, fallen Angels. And 1 for the Astros. 1 error. That's not fair. They give the error to Lance McCullers on the throw from home to first. But Rengifo was running in the grass. It was an illegal running in the grass. But they give McCullers an error, and it cost the Astros an extra run. Should be 2-0 right now. But it's not. It's just the way it is. Yeah, the Angels are not only getting lucky, they're getting help from the umpires. I agree with Michael. I think that the batter put his arm into the pitch. He leaned into it. And I think that I know for a fact that Rengifo ran in the grass. You can see it clearly. He ran in the grass. So the Angels. It was not close, Levi. Go back and look at it again. Quit. What is with people today? What is with the bickering? Go back and look at it again. Maybe you didn't see it, but don't tell me that it was close when it was not close. He started off in the base pad, but he quickly went into the grass, and he ran into the in the grass all the way down to first base. There's no opinion there. I'm not stating my opinion. I'm not giving you my perspective. I'm just giving you a fact. It's 100% fact. He was running in the grass. Period. What is with the bickering today? Like I said before, if it's my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. But I did not say it looked to me like he was running in the grass. I said he was running in the grass because he was 100%. Luis Garcia is in the game for the Angels. He's going to be facing Yainer Diaz for the first batter. 97 just below the zone. I'm surprised the umpire didn't call that. 1-0. Ramon Urias on deck. Jacob Melton in the hole. Here comes the pitch. 97 right in there to Diaz. Strike 1, 1-1. It would be nice, Susan, to get a grand slam. It would really be nice. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. 97 fouled off on the first base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Diaz. Levi, nothing you just said changes anything that I said. He was running in the grass. And I'm putting you in timeout. Because I'm not going to bicker with you. I'm tired of bickering with anybody in my life about anything. I don't care. I don't care. Enjoy your 24-hour timeout. Here's the pitch. This is hit out to center field pretty deep, and it's going to be playable, unfortunately. Not quite hard enough. Out number 1. Yeah, that's right, Mark. In my opinion, he was running in the grass. Even though he was clearly running in the grass and his feet were in the grass, it's just my opinion. Yeah, I know. I can... Actually, I can catch that one. I can see that was a joke, so I appreciate that. Here's the pitch. This is hit hard to left field all the way out to the wall. It's, oh, off the wall. He runs into the wall. Holy cow, that looked painful. Ramon Urias rips it all the way out to the wall. The left fielder goes head first. Oh, man, it looks like he got bloodied. Man, yeah, he got, yeah, he's bleeding bad. Holy cow, he went face first into the wall, into the fence out there, and he immediately waved for help. The bullpen immediately came out and put a, look at this. Oh. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, he got hit right above the eye. Right on the eyebrow, right above the eye. It split him open immediately. You see the pitcher, Garcia, is praying on the mound. He's lucky that the bullpen guys are like right there. They immediately came out to help him out. Man, he went right into that wall. Yeah, it's a bad cut, but he also hit it hard. They might have him on a concussion protocol after this. Man, Taylor Ward out there in the outfield, he's the one that ran into the wall. Yeah, they're trying to stop the bleeding right now. It's, man, he had like a double injury, you could say. He hit it hard, but he also gashed himself open. Yeah, I hope it's not serious. I think he'll be okay, but right now they're going to take a break, I think, for a commercial. But Urias is on second base with one out. So the Astros do have something cooking. Maybe this little break will help them out. Jacob Melton is due up, followed by Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez. Who knows? Maybe we'll get that grand slam that Susan mentioned. Yeah, he broke his face, DeLion. That's basically what happened. He broke his face. Yeah, I don't want anybody hurt, but I definitely want the Astros to break the Angels. Just not literally. Just break them with a comeback win. Well, yeah, he's not going to be able to play. There's no way they're going to let him play. Right now, they're not moving him because they're trying to stop the bleeding. I would imagine that they're waiting on a cart to come get him, because they had a compress immediately on his face. He was bleeding really bad. I mean, right off the wall. Right off the wall he was bleeding. It was pretty bad. But that's hit number 2 for the Astros. Urias has actually not had a bad game. Let's take a look at his performance today. A double and a walk. Yeah, they got the card out there right now. Yeah, they still got that pressure applied to his head. They had the ice pack on there for a while. Now they're switching to gauze. Yeah, he went right into that scoreboard wall. That's correct, Michael. Yeah, Susan, it's sad. The Mariners won, but maybe the Astros can pull this out and we won't lose any ground. We'll see. Yeah, Dara, I don't think it's the eye. It was right here, like on his eyebrow. Whenever he turned around, that's what I could see. There was blood on his eyebrow. I think he hit that right there. I think his eye is okay, thankfully. I think that if it were his eye, then they would have had him off the field already. That would have been an emergency. Like a really serious emergency. Michael says it's all fun and games until you face plant in the Crawford box's outfield wall. That's true. It's happened more than a few times. Well, at least he found a new lover. I mean, that's one good thing. Finally, they're carting him off. All right, now the Astros can win this game. Man, they are carting him slowly, too. Abel. Can you imagine? He better not have messed up the scoreboard. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Oh my gosh. Taylor Ward runs straight into the scoreboard in left field. That is terrible. He could have messed up the scoreboard. Man, nice and slow. Yeah, I think they're worried about a concussion also because they got two guys holding him. Yeah, look at that. I mean, they're carting him as slowly as possible. Yeah, you're right, Fred. That's a dangerous spot right there. That little corner. I'm glad that, I'm sorry that you're hurt, but I'm glad that we're able to come together like this. I've been wanting a boyfriend. Just trying to make it fun. Just trying to make it fun. I think he'll be alright. He's a little shaken up, but I think he'll be alright. But man, when he first hit the wall, I think if you go back and you listen to my live stream at that part earlier, I think the first thing I said was, ooh! I mean, he nailed it face first. It was literally a face plant right in the wall. Terrible. Look at that. This has got to be the longest injury delay and the slowest getting off the field I've seen the entire year. Anywhere. Live or not. All right. Now the Astros can continue their comeback. Welcome to Houston, sucker. Well, Taylor Ward didn't have any hits today, but he walked 3 times, so we don't have to worry about him walking anymore in this game. As he walks, he can't even walk off the field. What a terrible joke. He walked 3 times in the game, but he's rolled off the field. Melton at the plate. First pitch is 90 miles an hour at the bottom of the zone, strike 1. Feels kind of strange now to suddenly just get right back into the game. Melton has grounded out twice today. The count's 0-1 with Urias on second base, 1 down. Here's the toss. Another tapper by Melton, but this one goes foul, 0-2. He probably does have a concussion, Angel. As soon as I saw him go into the wall, that's what I thought. It must be a concussion. I mean, he nailed it hard. You're right. He nailed it hard. Definite trauma. It was definitely head first, literally. 98 at the top of the zone, called strike 3. Melton goes down looking. Thank you, Jacob Melton. We don't need you here in the 8th. I mean, we're only down by 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. It's not like we need any hits or RBIs. We don't need those who needs RBIs? Who needs such nonsensical things? They're going to come out now. Jeremy Pena is due up, and they're going to have a meeting of the minds on the mound right now. Hey, you know, I know that we just had that long break, and we could have been chatting about this before, but, you know, I was a little distracted, crying over there in the corner like a big baby, praying to my God. So let's have a break now and talk about the next batter. All right, that's good. Use your big beard power. The Flash is at the plate. Please do something. We need you, Jeremy. 6-game hitting streak for Jeremy Pena. A little mini streak. Is he going to get that 7th hit today? We shall see. 2 outs. Urias on second base, just waiting to be driven in. Here's the first pitch to Pena. Low and outside in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, you're right, Michael. That's true. He could have also injured his neck. For sure. We might see him in a neck brace. It's possible. Patrick says you always hurt the ones you love. Here's the pitch. Ooh, 83. Low and outside on the Swiffer. AJ Bluebaugh and Caleb Ort are going in the pen for the STROS. 1-1 is the count to Pena. He calls a timeout and steps out of the box. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Daryl. Maybe the delay helps us out a little bit. Yeah, I do think he'll be okay. Here's the 1-1 way outside and low. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's funny, Gregory. The wall says, I'm gonna get you, sucker. I'm gonna get you, sucker. Any of you see that 80s movie? That's called a strike. A sinker on the lower outside corner. 2-2 to Pena. Yes, I hope we're done with the lobsters today. Let's just score runs. Score all base runners. Starting right now. Pena, no. Outside in the dirt. Pena goes back to his vomit. Just like a dog. Chasing the low outside garbage. That's all you got to do. Just throw the low outside garbage. Swiffer in the dirt, low and outside, or sinker, low and outside. Strike 3. Nothing doing. Urias gets on base with a big hit to left field, and he's stranded by 2 batters. 2 more lobsters for the Astros. And that's 10 this game. 10 lobsters. Not as bad as yesterday, but considering how they haven't had too many people on base today, it makes sense. Yep. Welcome to Houston, the House of Pain. At least you'll leave with a win, but we're gonna bloody your face. Shrewdly, I was wondering the same thing. Maybe it's just because he's a lefty. Shrewdly wanted to know, why did Melton get the hit? I would imagine we just didn't have another better option to bring in. And he's a lefty, so that's probably why. It's a depth problem, and Caratini's not here, you know. I mean, I guess they could have brought in Salazar, but the problem is that Salazar only catches, right? I don't think we could have put him anywhere else. Yeah, that's right. Abel says the 0 who he ran into has his face imprint on it. Yeah, that would be interesting if it had like his face outline, or the oil from his face, or the sweat or something left an imprint. He probably won't. Yeah, actually, he probably won't even be back. We won't see him in the next game, I would imagine. Yeah, we got another day game tomorrow. I get to get up again at 2 o'clock. 2 nights in a row. Fun. A.J. Bluebaugh is on the mound for the Strizos. He is facing Zach Neto. That pitch is low for ball 1. Low and outside. 2-0. Yes, that's right, Daryl. We don't need to run into the outfield wall. We have walls of our own to run into. We build and run into our own walls. Here's a 2-0. 95 inside, ripped foul down the third base line. 2-1. Pinch hit Salazar and make him play shortstop. Where you got to put Pena? 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the next toss from Bluebaugh. 98, low and outside in the dirt. 3-1. Here's the pitch. That's hit to center field. Should be playable, and it is. Melton puts it away for out number 1. Neto goes down. Well, there's a silver lining to everything. Zach Neto has struck out twice today. No hits. No walks. So there's that. So who cares about... The goal of this game is not to win. Who cares about winning? It's just to win against Neto. Here comes the next pitch from Bluebaugh. That's a swing and a miss. Yohan Moncada is at the plate. 0-1 is the count. We've already won this game, Astros fans, because Neto is 0 for 5. 96 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. Strike 2. I don't want to see us shut out either, but the sun is finally casting a decent bit of light outside. Swing and a miss. How about that? 3-pitch strikeout. The changeup looking nice. Bluebaugh gets the K. 2 down. Who's the Astros batting coach? Angel says Ronald McDonald. It's definitely not the Framburglar. Mike Trout back at the plate. Got 2 doubles. One of those is earned. Strike 1 on the Swiffer. If we need him, he might be able to, Gregory. Here's a pitch. 97 in the zone, fouled off. 0-2 with 2 outs. Trout calls a little timeout. Here comes a pitch. Outside. 1-2. Hey, baby. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Oh, 97 at the top of the zone. Just a little high. I can't believe that they called it a ball, and I can't believe that Trout didn't swing. 2-2. Here's the toss. In the dirt. Wow, that was a wild pitch. Landed before the plate. Full count. How many entries do we have right now? Only 7. We only have 7 entries, guys. Remember, this is only a 24-hour thing. It's only going to be posted for 24 hours, the giveaway, so make sure you enter in the next 24 hours. That's grounded to Pena. He lobs it to first base, and a nice scoop by Walker. And that's out number 3. Bluebaugh has 3 up and 3 down. Why is everybody a freaking Catholic? Have you guys ever noticed that? Why does it seem like every single player does the sign of the cross? Am I the only one that's noticed that? Why does it seem like 100% of all the players are Catholics? They get an out, they do the sign of the cross. They get a hit, they do the sign of the cross. They strike somebody out, they make a good play, sign of the cross. Is that like the way you get into the major leagues? You have to be a Catholic? I don't know. You're right about that, Angel. He's definitely doing better than Abreu. Abreu had a well-timed breakdown last night. Mark, that's a good question about the entry. All you need to do is email me. Send me an email and tell me you entered and your YouTube name. The reason for that is because you know that whenever you do the quiz, you have to log in on your Google account, right? Your YouTube account. And it shows me your email. And if you email me and you tell me your YouTube name, then I can connect them. Hey, you can kind of see the girls dancing on the dugout there. Don't get to see them very often. They never show them up close on TV. They sometimes show the college football cheerleaders and the NFL cheerleaders, but and even maybe the basketball cheerleaders, right? But why do they never show the baseball cheerleaders? That guy, who in the world are you talking to? See ya. Jordan Alvarez at the plate. One ball, no strikes. Here's a pitch. 91 low and inside. Ball 2 to Jordan. Jordan could either get us a hit or a walk. Kenley Jansen is on the mound with the dad bod for the Angels. 90 in the bottom of the zone. Strike 1, 2-1. Next pitch on the way. That's hit pretty deep out to left field. No, it's too high. The crowd got really excited about that, but it went way too high. And it died. It went high to die. Turned into a duck. One away. Jose Altuve comes to the plate. Let's see if he can turn it around right here. This is one of those games where Altuve could turn things around with one swing. And I don't mean the game, I just mean his performance. Because he's 0 for 6 with a walk. He's done almost nothing today. 92 at the bottom of the zone, strike 1. But I've seen him have games like this before. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. He's doing nothing, and then he hits a solo homer. It'd be nice to at least get the Astros on the board. At least get us on the board. And he grounds this one to shortstop. It looks like it's not going to happen today. That's out number 2. Bottom of the 9th. We're down to our last out. The Astros only have 2 hits this entire game. Shutout knocking at the door. Carlos Correa. Yeah, Michael. Well, it doesn't. It helps a little, but the main thing is not to be shut out, you know. At home against the Angels, don't be shut out. Carlos Correa. Here's the pitch. Check swing, foul ball, strike one. You know who really sucks more than anybody? Billy Bob. Here's a pitch. 93 in the bottom of the zone. 0-2. Here's the next pitch. Yeah, we got a scoreless inning streak going on, Mark. That's right. That is right. Count remains 0-2 with that foul ball. 2 outs, nobody on, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Outside, just a little bit. 1-2. Yeah, basically, Angel, that's right. With the stuttering and everything, right? The stuttering pig and all. That's hit hard out to left field, but turns into a floater. It looks like it was hit hard, but it was not hit hard. It was a floater. That's going to be it for the Astros as Correa flies out to left field. I'll remind you one more time, just a quick, gentle reminder that my giveaway is live. For those of you who want to try to win something, make sure you click the link to my Google document quiz. The way I set it up is to favor those who really know the channel pretty well and know me pretty well, people who've been really paying attention, and you have the best opportunities to win. First place winner is going to get quite a few little things, some snacks. Also, I didn't mention this in my post the other day, but I'm going to give away some cheese, curry, ramen, cup ramen. It's very tasty. And a Hiroshima Carp baseball jersey, some Japanese snacks, some Japanese coffee, and Altuve baseball cards, some other stuff all together for the first place winner. And I've got 3 postcards I'm going to mail out, so at least there's something that you can look forward to. Make sure you click the link if you want to enter that drawing. Make sure you follow the instructions. You need to do 2 things. I need to verify that you are a subscriber to my channel, and the combination of those 2 things: answer the questions and submit, and then send me an email with your YouTube name, and then you will be entered. Right now, I think how many entries do I have right now? Just 7 entries right now, and the total points possible are 10. And right now, somebody has 5 points. the leader has 5 points. So there's still an opportunity for you to win. Just do your best. Some of these are harder than others. Some of these questions are harder than others. Yep. Yeah, that's definitely true. I live in Japan and in Hiroshima. One of the quiz questions is, what area, basically, do I live in? Do I live in Houston? Or do I live in Japan? Or do I just spend part of my time in Japan? Who knows? Anyway. The scoring summary for today. Since the Astros didn't really do anything, there's not much to share with you. The Astros didn't do anything. We didn't score. Only got a couple of hits. 2 hits. The Angels got a solo homer. Had a couple of other hits. They had 6 total hits. Got 3 runs. There's really nothing to talk about. Don't care about that too much. Take a quick look at tomorrow's game and see who's up. And then after that, we'll take a look at the scores around the league. The Astros have now lost 2 games in a row. 7-1, we've been outscored the past 2 games. Our good old friend Yusei Kikuchi is on the mound for tomorrow, but the Astros have not yet announced a pitcher. It's possible that they decide to move Fromber up and let him pitch tomorrow, but we don't know yet. We'll see. But Astros are favored to win by 57.3%, or they're favored at 57.3%. That means that we will lose the series tomorrow. I'm being a little sarcastic, but let's take a look at the scoreboard right quick before we get out of here. The Rangers, the Strangers, are beating the A's in the 4th, 3-0. Let's see. What else? What else? The Red Sox beat the Pirates 5-2. The Blue Jays beat the Brewers 8-4. The Mariners beat the Guardians 4-2. And the Tigers beat the Royals 5-0. So everything is opposite today. All of the teams that lost yesterday, we needed to lose, and we lost. And then all of the teams we needed to lose again today have either lost are either winning or have won. Well, the Yankees lost. The White Sox managed to beat the Yankees, so that's one. At least we have one. Okay, so we got one. That's okay. But let's try to look forward to evening up the series tomorrow. If we can at least even up the series, I guess that'll be okay. Gregory, that's difficult. Myers batting second. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for the lineup, but I do know that I don't like Jordan batting second. I will say that much. But I think that's all for now. I'm worn out. It is now exactly 5:59 in the morning. And I am ready to lie down and get some more sleep. I'm burnt out. I'm running on fumes. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Let's look forward to a better game tomorrow. I don't know what the likes are, but I know that the game wasn't so hot today, so I'm expecting the likes to not be so good. No big deal. That's right. Just forget about it. Just forget about this game. Forget about it. And think about that some more maybe tomorrow. Maybe clean up. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe so. Hopefully I can get some really good sleep, and then I'll feel much better for tomorrow's game, and so will the Astros. Who knows? You have a good night too, Gregory, and everyone else. Again, as always, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the kind words. And all of that good stuff. I hope you all have a wonderful day or afternoon or evening wherever you are. And I will see you tomorrow. Until then, go STROS. Bye-bye.